Yesterday, the Select Committee's hearing showed all Americans that President Trump's claims of a stolen 2020 election were, to use former Attorney General Barr's words, complete nonsense. We heard this from Donald Trump's own campaign experts, his own campaign lawyers, his own campaign manager, his Attorney General, and others Donald Trump appointed to leadership positions in the U.S. Department of Justice. President Trump's advisors knew what he was saying was false, and they told him so directly and repeatedly. The testimony from our first two hearings is available on the Select Committee's website, so all Americans can easily view it. In our next hearing on Thursday, the Select Committee will examine President Trump's relentless effort on January 6th and in the days beforehand to pressure Vice President Pence to refuse to count lawful electoral votes. As a federal judge has indicated, this likely violated two federal criminal statutes. President Trump had no factual basis for what he was doing, and he had been told it was illegal. Despite this, President Trump plotted with a lawyer named John Eastman and others to overturn the outcome of the election on January 6th. To give you a sense of the gravity of these issues, here is a clip of one of President Trump's own White House lawyers, Eric Hirschman, who talked to Mr. Eastman the day after January 6th.
It was the day after. Eastman, I don't remember why he called me, or he texted me or called me, wanted to talk with me, and he said he couldn't reach others. And he started to ask me about something dealing with Georgia and preserving something potentially for appeal. And I said to him, "Are you out of your effing mind?" Right? I said, I only want to hear two words coming out of your mouth from now on. Orderly transition. And I screamed, I said, I don't want to hear any other effing words coming out of your mouth, no matter what, other than orderly transition. Repeat those words to me. And I screamed that. Eventually he said, orderly transition. I said, good, John. Now I'm going to give you the best free legal advice you're ever getting in your life. Get a great effing criminal defense lawyer. You're going to need it. And then I hung up on him.
Here's the thing. My worry heading into these hearings was that we wouldn't learn anything we didn't already know. That we'd just get the same avalanche of images from the Capitol insurrection and that people would eventually tune out. But very clearly, that's not the case. Here we can see that Trump had contracted the help of people like John Eastman, and I'll jump into Eastman's role in just a moment, but just some quick background. John Eastman is a lawyer who had previously clerked for a Supreme Court justice, and I'll give you one guess as to which justice he clerked for. If you guess the one whose wife has found herself embroiled in efforts to help overturn the election results, congratulations, you've won the easiest contest ever. Eastman would eventually become a central figure in developing a legal strategy to justify Trump's coup. For example, he authored two memos outlining steps that Mike Pence could take to ensure that Trump retained the presidency despite losing the election. He also spoke at the January 6th Stop the Steal rally, where he claimed that secret folders inside ballot counting machines swung the Georgia results for both the presidency and the Senate to Democrats. The House had requested documents from Eastman, who, of course, sought to impede that effort. But last week, Eastman was ordered by a judge to turn over more than 100 emails to the January 6th committee. He'd claimed that those emails were protected under attorney-client privilege, which, of course, doesn't apply if the privileged communications demonstrated a crime or fraud. The California bar is currently investigating Eastman to determine whether he, quote, engaged in conduct in violation of California law and ethics rules governing attorneys following and in relation to the November 2020 presidential election. So who knows, maybe Eastman will join the long list of Trump-aligned lawyers who've lost their ability to even practice law, like Jonathan Mosley in Virginia and Rudy Giuliani, whose license was suspended in New York, because something, the best people. Now, here's why the clip we just saw from the January 6th committee is important, because it shows, yet again, that the people involved in the Trump plot to subvert the election results knew that what they were doing was wrong. Eastman himself was told by White House counsel that what he was doing was illegal, that he should get himself a criminal defense attorney, and to not focus on anything other than the orderly transition of power. That he chose to move forward with his election theft scheme anyway, despite knowing its illegality, shows corrupt intent. And the January 6th committee, to its credit, nailed Trump in the exact same way. It showed a number of senior Trump administration and campaign officials, from Bill Barr to Jason Miller to Alex Cannon, all of whom conceded during sworn testimonies that Trump was told there was no fraud and that he had no path to victory in this election. But Trump moved anyway to spread the big lie, to incite an insurrection, to pressure state legislators and election officials to refuse to certify, to get Pence to send the results back to the states. All of this was done with the knowledge that he didn't actually win, meaning he did all of this with corrupt intent. In other words, this committee is proving exactly what it set out to prove, that in order for prosecutors to bring criminal charges against him, they'll need to prove corrupt intent. That is what they're doing right here. They're showing that not just Trump, but even the people who Trump contracted to help him were all well aware of both the reality of the situation, that Trump lost the election, that there was no path to victory, and that they chose to move forward anyway, despite knowing the truth, because they sought to purposefully and knowingly defraud the American people. So look, we still have a lot to learn, but one thing is already clear. The January 6th committee has served the DOJ its case on a silver platter, and it would be just as criminal as Trump's own actions for Merrick Garland not to bring charges against Donald Trump. To see more videos like this, click the subscribe button right here on this screen. And to support my work beyond that, check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I cover the week's most important stories and interview the biggest players in the world of politics, including President Biden, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, Katie Porter, and so many more. The link is also right here on this screen. And finally, to take action yourself and sign petitions on the most important issues, go to briantylercohen.com/petition.